Okay, so here we go with week 6 of Design 320. We're talking about creating landmass objects in Revit. And this is continuing with our level of graphic visualization and modeling based on what we call mass modeling. We're not really talking about intricate details or how things really operate in the greatest detail. We're talking about just the basic shape and whether it works with the things around it. And they're to give concept visualizations. They are the basis of future detailed design work, which is where the real nitty gritty and the 80% of the work of design gets done. But until you've got a good ability to see the whole thing together, it's good to have these mass models. Now, this week we're gonna look at land masses and Revit, and then we're gonna look and see about how other designs can work with it. In particular, we're gonna put the building that we did last week, or one similar to it, onto this landmass. Um, the thing that we'll get to on this one is we're not just going to be doing a model of the uh, what the design looks like. We're going to look at it what it looks like at different parts the the construction process. And so land masses and architecture are ideal for that because most of us are somewhat familiar. We've driven by a place where, a bulldozer is grading, or there's a building being made, and we realize that it's a long process and a large process with lots of different they call it disciplines or stakeholders involved. And so this is really a good one. We're going to look at the existing and then at the new construction. Those are two of the phases that you'll learn about throughout our program for construction and architecture. Now, in the world of mechanical engineering, this would be not really quite this way. Usually, design is pretty well done ahead of time, although for some large mechanical projects, that's not necessarily the case. I was an R&D engineer for many, many years, and we went through many, many steps of the development. And so the when was important also, but it's more familiar to us when we're looking at land masses. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we've got. You've got a playlist, and it's not, there's a lot of them in here, but they're all very short. The amount of time it takes to do these is relatively small if you already know how to do it. I expect that there will be places where you get hung up and it gets difficult and you only get so far. So don't worry about that. You'll have opportunities to ask me about it during the open lab, or shoot me an email or a message, or even put it in the notes. That's what I'd really like you to do, is put it in the notes so that I can respond to it and make a video to answer your specific question. Of course, you can always try. I've noticed this semester the groups are really good. People are very good about getting with me in these um, private chat times on my Google Meet or Discord or Kumo Space. So you're able to get into those too if they're not all filled up. Early bird does get the worm, so hopefully you'll be able to check these out a little bit early. I would say at least watch them all through. Your best practice is to watch the entire playlist. I would do it at like 1.25 or 1.5 speed. So that, this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 4, 20, about half an hour. It's about half an hour at regular speed at 1.5, then it's about 17, 18 minutes. Watch them all through so that you have a good kind of understanding where it's all going. And then go back and as you're doing the activities, watch it again at either regular speed or the increased speed. And then watch it a third time as you're following along with it. Okay, so you have some videos that you can go to. All of the resource files are in the Google Drive. There's the base file for Revit, and there's the assignment guide. And they're also, if you're on VMware, I put those in the instructors folder. So you go to the My Computer Instructors, Schuster Spring 22, 320 week 6, and those same files will appear. Actually, I think the file that appears is the base file. Okay. So you can get to the resource files. Obviously, then your job is to create the file, create the drawing files, do the work per the assignment guide. Let's take a look and see what it looks like. Again, there's a link to the resource files. Here's an overview. What are we going to do? We're going to model using phases. Phases are when during the project the model looks like that. So at the beginning, of course, it's just a piece of dirt. And that's all you see. But under the new construction phase, then you see the floor and the walls and the windows and the doors and the roof. And of course, there are different categories of new construction also, but we're going to just use this very, very basic introductory model to get the idea of phases across. And again, we're just creating the concept visualizations. Okay, and that includes some file setup, creating an existing topography. Topography is, what does the surface look like? What does the dirt or the ground look like? And it's actually pretty important, but we really cover that in other classes. So in this class, you're just going to sort of follow some directions and make a thing and not worry about it too much. And it is just a very initial part where we can start doing some design review. That's going to be the focus of the second half of our course is design review. Create a simple existing building pad. And a building pad is just a place that's been leveled out that you're going to do your construction on. Okay, and then we'll add our new construction building, which will be a floor, walls, windows, doors, and roof. And we're just going to do the external because this is a concept visualization of a site. Okay, what will the site look like with the building on it? Okay, and so then we have 3 activities. The first one is setting up the file. There are some things to do to make sure that your file is proper and appropriate, especially when we're talking about phases. And then we'll create an existing topo surface. That sounds weird, create existing. So that's create in your model the topo surface that is existing at the start of the project. And then we're going to create it by using the place point version method. And then we always have to finish it up by checking the green check mark. And then it doesn't look very good when you just do it like that. So I want your presentation to be a little bit easier to see what's going on. So we're going to make the topo lines very light. And I show you how to do that. This is not super important. If you have trouble with it, don't worry. It's an introduction only. But it's good to start getting introduced to it. And finally, we're going to add the new construction phase, right? And so um, we're gonna do our building pad, and actually we do that in activity 2. I sort of have this in the wrong spot; it's already there, but you do have to go and get your architectural floor put in. And in this case, our floor is very simple. It's called slab on grade, and you'll learn about that in some other classes. And then we'll add the walls, the windows, and doors, and we'll add the roof, and then you'll have a wonderful little building to work with. Okay, so that's what we've got to do. Again, once you've got them done, be sure that that Revit file gets into your Google Drive and that you share your Google Drive with me, W0384271 at apps.losrios.edu. And that way, if I need to get into it and see something, I can. We have a discussion activity this week, and it's sort of a follow-on. Last week, you did some pretty nice work. I'll have some comments about it. I was intrigued by some of the things that you guys came up with. That was really pretty well thought out overall. I have a few more things to add in. And we're going to go on past that now. So we talked about how to import other models, but there's another thing called linking. And this is really important when we start working on larger projects and we want to get everybody's visualizations together. So if I were doing a small development, one person would be doing the landmass model, another person would be doing the civil engineering model, another person would be doing sort of some of the architectural, another person would be doing the landscaping, and they all would be working in their own Revit files. And so this sharing of Revit models so we can all see what the other person is doing is really key, because you can't do your design in a vacuum. So that's what this discussion is about: linking files. And so this is what linking files does. It allows people to work together. And here's your what to do list. And last week, most of you went right through that one by one and did it, and it was very nice. And in your short explanation, you said what you did and what you found, and that was very, very good. And so that's what you'll do again. So first of all, you'll look about linking Revit files, and then find a link that will help somebody know about. Oh, that's not lined files. Look at that. When I read this stuff back again, I find all sorts of mistakes that I overlooked before. So, and this doesn't need to be a how-to. It can be about what's it like, what's it for, how does it work, when would you do it. So I'm not necessarily looking for a how-to on this one, although maybe that works best for you. But this idea of linking is fairly complex, and there's lots of little parts to it. So somebody know about. Well, I did it again. I just made it liked instead of linked. What in the world? There, now I got it right. So my apologies for breaking into that. So post a link and then post a short explanation about the benefits and drawbacks of using linked files. Okay, and that means at least one benefit and one drawback. And there are drawbacks to linking files. Okay, and then post one or two disciplines that might need Revit links in their work. A discipline is like mechanical engineering, civil engineering, architecture, landscape, fashion, interior design, and then subcomponents of all of those. So you'll want to post one or two disciplines that might be able to use Revit links. So that's your discussion. back to that again. And so once you've got all that done, of course, it's time to do your executive summary. And this all looks like normal. And remember that Monday the 21st is a holiday, so I'm hoping that everybody has the opportunity to take that as a holiday. Most of you are doing nice work on this. Remember to try to get something from each slide. 1, 2, 3. You're going to have like at least 3 images up here. Kind of spread them out, make it sure. You can, if you want, get rid of that. Okay, but be sure that things are well arranged on your page. I'm starting to slowly tighten the screws on your your visualization grade, your you know the last part of your rubric where I'm looking at visual appeal. Okay, as you get more and more feedback as you go, as we work through, I'll be tightening the screws and making it a little bit tougher and a little bit tougher and a little bit tougher to get that beautiful 2.5 out of 2.5 for visual appeal. And so, but my expectation is that you're learning as you go. And so we're starting to get to that point where after 4 or 5 or 6 weeks of getting comments and hearing about them and seeing them, we'll do that. And I'll go over some of these and post ones that I can say really good comments about. So here, this is your setup, and so you can look at what I'm looking for here and add an explanation about phases. Many of you did nice explanations last week, and so I'm looking forward to seeing an explanation. And it's best if it's in your own words, but sometimes you can find a good cut and paste, or you can put together, synthesize 2 or 3 other people's explanation into one very nice explanation. So that's activity 1, set up the file. This is your existing topography. And on this one, I'm really looking at the process to create a topography. You're just going to have one shot here, but I'd like you to show some intermediate steps as you're going through it. And you'll see what I mean. I mean, it doesn't just magically appear. Well, it does, but it's not done. It comes in in interesting little parts. And so I want to see that you understand how that works and what's going on. So show me sort of like some progress prints here. That's what I mean by process. Here's where I started, here's halfway through, here's all the way through, and then maybe here is my, how did I do the level? Make the building pad level. This one might actually, if you want, take more than one page. And then we've got activity 3. Again, show me progress prints. Show the placed walls, show the placed doors, then the placed windows, then the roof. So this one should have like 1, 2, 3, 4 at a minimum images on here. And again, over to here, remember that this box turns green. Okay, you're going to start losing points on your visual presentation if that is not green, and that these have to be edited to be a real sentence rather than a was not. Okay, so these you have to pick which one of these. And I am finding that, as I expect, many of you are having difficulty with the amount of time that's required for this course. Sorry about that. If you want, you can get with me and I can give you some hints on how to maximize your learning and your points, and maybe what you can drop off to save an hour or 2 and not really significantly harm your learning in the class or what your grade was. Okay, but I just do see that. But this is part of our curriculum. It's set in stone. What we teach and how much we teach is agreed upon with college, with the state, and with other colleges. And we really have to toe the line on that, or other colleges won't be able to rely on your transcript when you're looking at um, transfer. And industry expects a certain level of expertise and skill, and time on task is part of that. So please, if you're having trouble making the 6 to 12 hours, let me know, and we can focus your work to maximize what you are able to make. Okay, so there we go. And then there's your submittal and submit your drawings. So that's it for the week. I look forward to seeing your good work. I will do one other video a little bit later on after I've had a chance to review everybody's work, and I'll do some highlight work for you. All right. Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing the good work.